Boys, welcome back. Today we are talking about if you should play Ghost Recon Wildlands in 2024. And it's a very simple answer. Yes, of course, do it. It's worth it. And let me tell you, I got this game, I'd say a little recently, maybe about a month or two ago, and I've put in roughly, I want to say maybe 24 hours approximately. Not 24 hours of their actual, like their gameplay. I've done a lot of side missions. I go around and it's a little more open world, and I just, I go ham on, whatever NPCs I can find and just act like a degenerate sometimes. And, however I can. I just try to find new ways to maybe kill a boss or, see if I can put a grenade in a car and then launch it down a hill to some NPCs. But really, if you're thinking about buying this game, real quick, I 100% think you need to. But I will say this: what really pushed me to get this game was that there's nothing like it out there. If you have this itch or this desire for an open world, not really extraction, but open world tactical, this is the game. You can definitely put this on easy mode, turn on the maps and everything, and then run through this. I want to say within maybe like a long weekend, you can go in and finish this whole game. The story's, the story's really well, like it, the lore and everything behind it, it works really well. You can get a lot of diversity in your loadouts, your character customization, everything in here works really well as far as giving you that oomph of like, I want to be an operator. I want to be in the, in the quote unquote wildlands. I want to get some cartels or kill the bad guy. And I don't want to do it with just in one arraignment. You can almost go in, any way you want. You want to go stealth, you want to go guns blazing. You have that option. Now, one of the biggest things also, like a big plus on here, is that it's when you buy the game, it's at a discounted price. Or let me say this: you should only buy this game at the discounted price. I think I paid $10 for this, or $8 for this game on, I think Ubisoft actually had this one for sale for $10. Steam had it for 10, but then I missed the sale, and then it went back to I think $40, and I wasn't having that, so I found it on Ubisoft for 10. And then the add-ons and the extras you can get on there, I mean, for $15, $20, you get a lot of content and the whole game. And it runs on my PC really well. I have I believe a 2030, and there's no issues. I don't have any lag. It doesn't, I mean, it doesn't, how do I say, I don't get any that old school buffering. I don't get stuck. It doesn't freeze. I don't get crashes. It runs well. It's optimized as well as it can. But I think this game's also a 2017. So keep in mind that as you play this game, it's not gonna, you cannot compare it to anything, that is made like in this later type of genre. Or you really can't compare it to any other Ghost Recon, because the only other one's Breakpoint, and that just seems to be a sore subject for people on, the comparison, but that's a video for another day. I will say this: let me give you like my three favorite things to do, and then let me give you three things I would like just to be prepared for on the downside end. So let's go with downside first. Always eat your veggies first, then the good stuff. So first thing on the downside, there's so much customization on here as far as what you can do. Sometimes it gets a little overwhelming, because if you look at anything, some of these old videos that people have made content on, it's really good content, but the problem is some of it's dated so much. Again, older game, not a lot of people are playing it, and there's been so much added on, you almost don't know where to start. There's a ghost mode, which is very tactical. There's a whole customization process for just your HUD, and you can add as much as you want, you can take away as much as you want, you can change things, the between how hard you want this or how easy you want this, excuse me, between how difficult you want the game to be or how easy you want to just maneuver around. That's, that kind of threw me off a little bit. I thought it was more of, it'll guide you along and tell you what to do, which it does as far as mechanics wise, but it's kind of open ended. Okay. Number two, it is an older game. Okay. So some of the stuff that I've grown used to for as far as optimization or animations, you're not going to have that here. There are animations, there is some cool stuff, but you got to just be prepared that that's what it's it's before 2020. So it doesn't look as sharp as some of the other animations we see now, and you might not care about that. Again, for a $10 game, it's not that big of a deal. Uh, so just be ready. When you go in for like a stealth kill, and it's the same animation between the leg and or the neck with your knife, or you come in with your single shooter with your sidearm. It's not going to look as realistic as you want it to, and sometimes I get thrown off because I want to play so tactical, and to be honest, sometimes I get thrown off because the game looks really good at times, and then other times I do something and I'm like, yeah, this is old school. The last thing that I will say that gets me like a I don't want to say a bad mark or derogatory mark, but one thing that I wish they'd fix or it was better, the multiplayer. There is a multiplayer on here. I've never been able to play it just because there isn't anyone that really plays this anymore. So to find guys on the server that are, that want to play, it's just far and few between. You might get lucky and get a match or two. I haven't been, and then to be completely transparent, I haven't spent a lot of time trying to find a multiplayer match, so I could be doing something wrong. But I would genuinely love if this had a bigger audience as far as multiplayer. Which again, that may not be your thing. This isn't exactly what when you're playing this type of game or Ghost Recon, you're not trying to just dive into the multiplayer. So I mean, that's just me nitpicking to say the least. But to get to the good stuff, the juicy, that goodness, I will say number one, the weather. I love the lore and weather of this game. I love how it turns from day to night, and then it rains. It rains during the day, it rains at night. Sometimes I can feel like that humidity right after a rain, and then driving around on a motorcycle and seeing the mud just jump up, and it's it's awesome. I again, for it being as old as it is, I thoroughly enjoy the surrounding areas. Two, I'm gonna say the story. The story's great. It gets you involved since you can kind of pick and choose where you go since it's so open ended as far as what direction you want to take the missions. It just bounces around really well. So you get involved and you have like some stock in the story after a while. The last thing I will say, one of my favorite things is just the randomization, like the NPCs have, and the random things that you can do in the map, just driving around. You could find some guys that are about to execute some of your homeboys. You can see that there's cartels that need to be investigated or interrogated on. You can find guys just kind of hanging out, with their motorcycles, and then you can eliminate them and steal their bike, and so on and so forth. It's just a lot to do if you just wanted to come in and have just a chill experience. And there's not a lot of games that do that can still keep your attention span. So, long story longer, it's worth a buy. Not a full price buy, but it is 100% worth it. This should be in a general rotation. It is worth saying that you played it, you beat the missions, you beat the storyline. With the new game coming out in maybe next year at some time, it's going to be worth to get back into this franchise and see what it's about, and then give it just give it a run. You get it on Steam. I think you get an hour or two before you can get a refund. So I definitely think it's worth that if you're worried about, the money or not liking it. And we are all, I guess, in the genre yearning for maybe a more of a third person tactical shooter to come out. And this is as good as it gets. It's not far off. It's well worth it, even though it is a bit of an older game. And I think I feel bad that it took me so long to even put this in rotation. It wasn't even on my radar. And again, I got it on sale on a whim, and I love it. I just think it's well worth anybody playing. So that is my 2 cents. If you have any, if you have thoughts on it, you think it's something better, or if there's something that you think anyone buying the game should do, put it down in the comments. Don't forget to like and sub, boys, and I'll talk to you soon. Later.